Okay, so now we're going to try to do this little ruffly guy here. It's just a little, ruffles are always popular and big. And he's on a fondant back, so you could use him for a lot of different applications too.
Mm-hmm.
And to do that, I did cut out a small disc. This is with an 1 1/4 round cutter. It's about 1/4 inch, yeah, 1/4 inch thick. And we do want that thickness because we'll be pushing the paper actually into the fondant. So to get the ruffles, I actually just cut 3 squares out. They can be any size depending on how large of a ruffle that you want. I'm going to do these are about 3-inch squares, and you can tell I do a lot of freehand cutting. I don't necessarily get a ruler and measure everything out personally.
Mm-hmm.
I like kind of the how it comes out different every time. I'm okay with that. So now I'm just going to cut a scalloped circle out of my square. And it doesn't have to be perfect at all. And people always ask me, why do I start with a square if I'm trying to cut a circle? And I just find that's the easiest way for me to do it. It's really difficult for me to actually cut a circle and then try to scallop it. So the square gives me kind of some parameters to keep my circle within a certain size. So I'll do that. Okay, so we're going to, again, flip them over so the front smooth side is down and the rough side is up. And I'm going to apply piping gel to the entire surface of all 3 of these at the same time. And it's a fairly light coat. I haven't found that too much is ever an issue. I mean, obviously you wouldn't want huge globs because it just would be a big mess. But I haven't had it necessarily affect the paper too badly. So a thin coat, but you don't have to be too worried about how much. It's another reason why I like this versus water, because with water you really would have to pay attention to.
You do have to really
what you're slopping. Mm-hmm. Yeah, with this you just slop it on and you're done. So.
Yes, I have done wafer paper with water to do kind of a sculpted leaf.
Right.
And it if you get it too wet, it can just completely melt.
yeah, and you've got to start all over. Yeah, so with the piping gel, it kind of helps with that. You can be a little bit more careless with it, I suppose is the word.
Yep.
I'm also going to apply some piping gel to my fondant back here. And this I just cut recently. I wouldn't suggest doing this with a dry piece because, again, like I said, we're going to kind of push the wafer paper into it, so you do want it to not be completely firm. Okay, so I'm going to pick up my circle here and just squish it up. And I don't have like a specific technique on how to do that. I'm just kind of gathering the paper into a point at the bottom here. And then I'm going to fold it over slightly so it kind of gives me a flat surface. When I have that flat surface, I'm just going to add it to my fondant. Let me get best angles here. Fondant back with the point sticking out to the outside of the circle, and the reason for that is just so I can get my finger in there and kind of anchor it. Just kind of push that over. And we can do that with the other 2 here. Again, just kind of squishing it to a point. You can see too how the piping gel, I mean, if you were to do this without anything on it, it just would crumble and crack in your hands. So again, piping gel really helps with that. So folding it over, just fitting it in next to the other one and anchoring it. Now we have one little spot open on this side. And same thing here. And you could apply these, without putting them on the fondant directly to your cake, but I like having the control of having a bunch of these and being able to place them this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because then you can just take those little bunches and put them wherever you want.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then since the whole piece has piping gel in it, I do kind of squeeze, the ones next to it together to try to anchor them a little bit to each other. And then that's it. Really simple. These are good for filling spaces, like between other flowers, or like I said, you can do a whole cake in them, like a whole tier in them. That'd be really cute. Yeah, they look good on cupcakes also.
Awesome. Okay, and I'm going to show really fast the cake again, so you guys can see this in application. I just love it. I love it. I love it. It's so current. I think it's just so, yeah, perfect and current and modern and. But yeah, you can see the little puffy things, and you can see the bows, and they just make such a really pretty light arrangement.
Yeah, it just gives it some texture without being too heavy. That was like really my first inclination of using wafer paper. I was looking for something a little bit lighter visually, but still gives you, like texture and some fun stuff. So
yeah. So now we're going to move on to this big one, right? You're going to teach this one also. That's so cool.
This one here, and this one I am using pattern paper, and this flower is actually in the Craftsy Class. The only difference is this kind of fringy center here.